Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi, good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, welcome to the class on advanced signal processing analysis. So I hope this is the first class for your semester, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. So what I suggest is class anyway is an introductory class. I will give the introduction to the course, and I will also outline the overall topics in the course. Okay. So more specifically, what I wish to get inputs from this class is you all might have studied signal processing in your BTechs. So I wish to know to what extent you are familiar and to what extent you want me to from where shall we chip in. So that's the one of the thing that I would like to know from this class. So I will give overall topics that we wish to discuss, and I would also wish to know to what extent each of you are familiar in respect to topics and where you feel little difficulty. So what I plan to do overall is I will discuss in brief the introductory details, or the review of the topics will be dealt in small details, and after the review is done, the rest of the topics will be done in full details. That's what I'm thinking. But even then, the review topics which I discuss, I may not, based on the requirement, I will see if I need to discuss in full length or only mention the important points. So once I discuss those, I will keep some exam. So it's a class test you can consider. That class test is mainly to assess each individual yourself, so that you are all up to the mark on the basic requirement for the subsequent topics in the course. Okay. So that's what we do, so that actually you all come, since you people might have come from different colleges, and your the contents may be different in your BTech signal processing course, and also the way they are taught also may be different. We all come to common ground probably in a month or so, and then we will have a continuous discussion on the subsequent topics. Okay, so that's what we will do in this in the course. But to start with, I will anyway start with some examples. I will ask some questions and so on. First of all, I would like to know any one of you who have not taken digital signal processing course in your BTech. Can you just mention? So I hope everyone has taken DSP course in your BTech.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, one more thing to add. So there are a couple of army officers as well in our course. So welcome you all as well, Mamit, Girish, and other
Pradeep.
officer. Pradeep. Hi. So
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So what I request you people is say consistently update me on what say on your background, whether you are able to cope up with the course or not, because you people might have studied these things in long back, so maybe 10 years back or so. So you might have forgotten some of the concepts as well. So I suggest that at the beginning you need little more work to be put in, so that you will all come under same ground, common grounds. So what I suggest is, anyway, I will keep posting some of the notes on the basic topics. So from today itself, mostly. So those notes, when I post, even though they might not have been discussed in the class, I suggest you to just look at how much familiarity you have with them, and get back to me in case if you miss familiarity, or you feel that there is a gap in familiarity in understanding any of these things, so that actually when I discuss in class, so you will not miss out fully understanding it. Also, you can cope up over a time of one and a half month with the regular classes. Yeah, Girish, you can mention. So I
Good
see.
morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, yes, sir.
I see a raising hand at your place. So could you please, you can convey what you wish to.
Sir, it was in regard of DSP, sir, in BTech. So I need to refresh my concepts of DSP, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So you can do that. So anyway, you can, as I said, initially I will post some notes and I will give some time for coping up with the details up to a common grounds. So initial 1.5 month, you can spend little more time on this. That too, actually, given the scenario of COVID, we have the advantage of less number of courses being floated this time. So in that way, I think it is a little more flexible to be thorough on the courses that you are doing. I suggest that you, in case if necessary, you can also mention to me, especially army officers, for a special class where I can discuss only with you people to give any of the background details in more details, or any of the say topics to be discussed at uh, um, uh, subtle details, etc. Okay, so you can use all these freedom, but what I suggest is, unless you come up and convey to us, it is not very easy to know what's going on at your place. So even though I try to get some inputs from each of you on say through some class test or some through questions in the class, etc., but if you could come up and convey what like what is the status and how is the things going on regularly, time to time, it will be very helpful, and it will also help like you people and me as well to convey the details in better details. Yeah. So we will start with the small introduction to signal processing. So what I will do is I will share some slides and start discussing. But what I suggest is I request each of you to fill in the outline of the course that I discuss here. What I wish you people is to make a small table. Okay, so in that you can write what you are familiar and what extent of familiarity you have. For example, some people may be just familiar with some topics. Some people are thorough in some topics. So if in the review topics, I will show here in the course outline. So first to say a few of the topics I consider as the topics that we are reviewing from the basic signal processing course. And then we will chip on to the advanced topics, or even some topics which are not regularly taught in all the institutes. So there, by the time we go there, what we need to do is anyway get familiarity and common grounds. So for that, what I suggest is that as an initial exercise that you should do probably in this week by probably Friday, is that you may need to make a table. Okay, in that table, mention each of the topics that I will discuss now, and you tell how much familiar you are. So you are thorough, or you are say just familiar, or something like that. Okay, just you yourself assess yourself and make a table. Okay, so that will help me to understand overall each of you how good you are. So background, how familiar you are. Okay, so I probably, if in that in doing that, probably help of TS also can be taken. So either I will introduce the TS for this course. So one is Vaishnavi. So she's my PhD student. She will be assisting in say this course in like bridging the gap. In case if you people feel some difficulty, she also can take some classes, and she also you can reach out to her as well, and for any clarifications or even for any comments, etc. She will also enable some good modalities for assignments, uploading, etc. And other TA is Suravardhan. He's staff at IIT Tirupati. So he will also be assisting in conducting this course smoothly. So you can reach out to them also. So they will be, in fact, even more probably reachable, and you can reach out to me as well in case of any clarifications, comments, or anything. Okay, so we will start with the course. So this is the course on advanced signal processing. In this lecture, as I said, we will be discussing on the course introduction and outline. So as probably you may know, I am Dr. Ramakrishna Gorti, Associate Professor at Electrical Department. So my area of research is in signal processing, image processing, computer vision, machine learning, deep learning areas. So the overview of this lecture goes with the introduction of signal processing and some illustrations of signal processing and applications, and then we will discuss on the outline of the course. We will also discuss on the evaluation and the grading criteria for this course, and I will give some references. Yeah, so before I start, I want some examples of say signal processing operations, or what do you think is signal processing first of all? So some definition of signal processing we need first, and then some examples. So I wish to know from each of you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Basically, signal is a everything we see and everything we listen is all, everything is of a signal. And I mean, if we particularly extract particular frequency from another, another signals, we can process on it like storing and modulating it and transferring, like something like that. So in that signal processing, I think we do like that. Suppose we all talking at a time. It's like suppose if we are able to subtract single frequency, like I have some other frequency, some other girl has some other frequency. So if you are able to extract that, we can do some work on it, or maybe you can store it. Yeah, this is my idea about signal processing.
Yeah, good, Madan. So these are good points. I suggest now other students to speak out. So at least I should get 3-4 answers for each of my questions. So Manmeet, you would like to tell something? What do you think is
sir, signal is like what I have studied in the communications. One, we have to send one place to another, sir, and that message is properly modulated and in a right frequency, sir. I believe that is the signal processing, sir.
Okay. So you mean to say that you can extract or you modulate to one frequency to other, or you would like to tweak the frequencies of the signal as per the desired task? That is one of the signal processing.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. So next, I would like to know from any other student.
Sir, extracting useful information from the signals we have and processing it.
Right. Very good. So extracting, so the first Madan has said, so also said about frequency information, also said in different kind of processing in signals, and the Manmeet has said about the frequency modulation in some sense, from one frequency to other. You are telling extracting the information from signals. Okay, so yeah, fine, good. So any other examples or any other, so I would like to define signal processing first. Why do you need signal processing? So you're telling some examples, good, but why do you need signal processing at all? Why should
Basically, take out useful information from the available set of signals.
Right. Okay. So we need,
Sir,
yeah.
actually signal contains some information.
Hmm.
We need to send our information to receiver. That's why signal processing course is need to some process.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. So these are all fine. So next we would like to know, first define what. So anyway, Madan has said to some extent what is signal. Okay. Everything that we see or even that we listen, everything is signal. But specifically, say for example, if I speak about signals, can you give me some specific examples of signals and tell their nature?
Information from sensors, like
Okay.
voltage, current, fluctuations in them.
Right. So voltage, current. So these are all one-dimensional signals mostly. Can you give any more examples for one-dimensional signals? Any others?
Like
Hari?
Sir, this
Yeah,
is Vishnu Kartikeya.
Yeah, tell Kartikeya.
Sir, a signal is nothing but a wave which has some valid information in it, like electromagnetic signals
Okay.
or video signals.
Okay, electromagnetic signals are also signals. Fine. Any other one-dimensional signals?
One dimension.
Hmm.
Video signal is 2D or 3D, sir.
Yeah, one dimension I'm asking.
Voice signal is one dimensional.
Right. Voice signal or speech signal, all audio signals are one dimensional. Okay, good. So fine. So any other signals that are of one dimensions? So you mentioned many, but a few more also if you feel you can mention.
I think video is also a one-dimensional. Only varies with the time only.
No. Why do you think video is a one-dimensional signal?
I mean, video means naturally what we see, not a recorded video. I think.
Okay. Even what we
Varies.
see, it varies with time, but you are looking in 2 dimensions straight away, and then that varies with time.
Yeah.
sir, heat signals, pressure signals.
Yeah, seismic signals. All these are one-dimensional. Okay. So many of the sensor-based measurements, other than the camera sensor, are mostly one-dimensional. Good. So in all these one-dimensional signals, there are some specific problems. Okay. So we will discuss on the specific applications little more. But some applications already discussed are extracting some relevant information, extracting some relevant frequencies, or modulating or demodulating some frequencies. That means are suppressing or say highlighting some frequencies. Okay. So these are the things that you people discussed. Are also for transmission purpose, making any necessary changes to the signals. So these are all the applications you discussed. Good. So now let us come to the 2-dimensional signals. So what are 2-dimensional signals? I need someone else to answer who has not spoken today. Raju Naik.
Hi sir, Hari. This is Hari.
Yeah, tell Hari.
Video signals,
Yeah, okay. Video signal is what dimensional?
2-dimensional, sir.
Why do you think it is 2-dimensional? Okay, let it be 2-dimensional. Anyone count us and gives example for 2-dimensional?
Sir, images are 2-dimensional.
Right, images are 2-dimensional. Right. So other student. So I would like to hear some applications in image processing. Those who have not spoken yet. So Anjana, Girish.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So like biological signal like ECG.
Okay. Niharika, I think telling, right? So you can, what did you tell?
Yes, sir. So like ECG signals, we can process them. Image processing, sir.
Okay, ECG signal. ECG signal is what dimensional?
ECG. I think so It's one dimensional.
No. Yes, ECG is one dimensional. It is not two dimensional, right? So we are discussing on the one dimensional signals, two dimensional signals.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, examples of some two dimensional signals you can give. Anyway, images are one, but you can give little more examples, specific examples of two dimensional signals and what is the need of signal processing there. Some specific examples. So Girish, you would like to tell?
Sir, in two-dimensional signals, what I could think of, something of machine vision, interpreting images from UAVs, from CCTV cameras, like this, sir.
Right. So if I take a, say, for example, an image, I would like to know who is there in it. So what are objects there in it? Okay. So I may also wish to recognize a person, he is there or not. Okay. So these are all some of the applications. So information processing from images, or object detection in images, or segmenting a particular person or object from images. These are all applications. Fine. So I would like to hear some complementary applications, or may not be, say he has given about UAV cameras and say UAV based recording analysis, and as well as CCTV images. So there you can also do video processing, where you have, instead of having a single frame, you have many frames, and from many frames you would like to information, or from video you would like to extract information of where is the person, so in which are all frames he is, what locations he is, etc. Many other informations. Track a person, or track a car or an object. Okay, so I identify the action, identify the event, and so on. So these are all, in some sense, three-dimensional signal processing. So when we process a single image, it is two-dimensional signal processing. Okay, so any other applications I would like to hear?
Sure, mapping Earth to satellites.
Pradeep is telling. Who is telling?
Harshavardhan, sir.
Yeah, Harshavardhan, you spoke already, I think. I would like to listen from someone who has not spoken today.
Okay.
Yeah, all have spoken or what? Praveen, you discussed already?
Yes, sir. Images, sir. I'm telling the images are two dimensional.
Yeah, images. Oh, you said. Okay, fine. So any other one? Anjana, I think, didn't discuss anything.
No, sir.
Yeah, what are other applications of image processing? So in what other applications do you see that image processing is important?
Sir, in case of character recognition from a document.
Okay, fine, good. So that is also fine. Yes. So for character recognition from a document, any other applications? So I think M010, who is this? I not able to see the name.
Sir, I am Bhargav, sir.
Yeah, Bhargav, you can also tell.
We implementing filters, sir, at the side of modulators and demodulators.
Okay, fine. You can implement filter, but for what application do you think filter is needed? In images we are discussing now.
Images like adjusting contrast.
Okay, so especially for removing noise. Okay, so if you want to remove some particular noise, so a particular band noise is usually high frequency. So in some sense, by applying some kind of filter, you will be able to remove noise. Or if you want to highlight only some frequency bands, and you would like to suppress some other frequency bands, there also filtering is of importance in two dimensions as well. So I want a specific other applications of image processing. Anyway, we will move on. So in the slides, at least I should have one or two new things, right? So there we will see. Okay, so let us move on. So basically, you people have defined a signal as any quantity that we that varies with time. Say as a standard definition, signal is the one which any quantity that varies with time or space, for example, and it is say it can be it has some information, it carries some information. That information processing is what is done through signal processing, or even enhancing the say we would like to represent the signal in a way that we can understand better, or we can highlight a particular information that we would like to see. Okay, that is usually done in signal processing. Okay, so how we do, anyway, we will discuss in few operations. So that is basically is regarding the definition and some examples. So here it is. Yeah, so far we have discussed only about signals, but no discussion so far we have done on the systems. So can some of you tell what is relevance of systems here? So because if you people have studied the first course in related to signal processing is signals and systems, then you will go to signal processing. So why you would like to have discussed the systems also here along with signal? Can one of you tell?
Sir, when a signal is passed through a system, it changes. To know how it changes, we have to study systems also.
Right. System is basically the one which does processing. Okay. So what we are so far discussing is the raw signal may not be very apt for many of the applications that we consider or wish to do. Okay. So what is more necessary for us is a processed signal, or a signal or the representation of signal which has more information very clearly highlighted. So that is done through a system, and that we call as so that's why we study signals and systems together. Okay. So can you give some examples of systems? So far we have discussed about signals, right? So can you give some examples of any systems?
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, system, I think what is basically is a system can be a set of instructions, or like a set of physical components also. But in signal processing, a system, what we call is basically is of physical components we discuss here. As our education system is also system, and what we call police and all is also system. But yeah, I think in signal processing, considered modulators and amplifiers, like power amplifiers, like all are what we discuss in systems.
Okay. So do you think the signal processing mainly does with the hardware components, or say physical components only? So you said that there are two kind of things. One is a set of instructions, or also a system which will enable us to process after those instructions, or execution of an algorithm or a program. Okay, that is also a system. So that is a software system in some sense. And the hardware, when you realize them in hardware, or when you really build that with hardware components, it is a hardware system. So it is a system with physical components. So the point that you mentioned regarding the hardware components is true to some extent. That means we usually have either amplifiers or different kind of small components to do a processing. But most of the time, in fact, it is more done through algorithmic processing or set of instructions. So signal processing systems mostly are, say, for example, even though for some of the real scenarios, it is demanded that you should have a hardware system or with components in place, but most of the cases you don't need them. So you can just do sufficient job. What is required, either information extraction, or say improving the signal quality, or say changing one form of the signal to the other. All these things you can also do with the software or algorithmic systems. Okay, so instruction based systems. So that is mostly discussed in this course. So the other part, doing with hardwares, we will just touch and leave. We will not discuss much in this course. Probably some courses like say VLSI signal processing, or probably some other courses may DSP processors related courses will highlight such things. Yeah. So now let us move on. So let us move on to a formal definition of signals and systems here. So these are all some examples. So where you have yeah. So as most of these things we already discussed. So current and voltages in a circuit are being signals, and then say pressure in an automobile pedal being a signal. However, the whole thing, like when you operate it, it is a system. And movement of robotic arm with the control inputs. All these are different examples for signals and systems. Okay, so face detection in images, for example, if you see in smart cameras, there is no even though the hardware component is there to capture the images and so on, but the operation of face detection is done through algorithm. So that process alone, if you consider it, is a software system. Okay, so it's like that. So now, anyway, before I start discussing on some outline of the course, I would like you to see some of the examples of signal DSP basic applications or signals and systems. Answer from signal to signal, what is the change, I will ask. Okay, so you should be able to predict or guess so what it is. Then we will try to see what signal processing operation has made that change. Okay.
Enter.
What is this word?
Thank you.
Enter.
It's an English word.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
What is that? Not able to properly. Yeah, I am not listening proper answer.
Enter.
Okay, I will try this.
Enter.
Yeah, anyone could give me?
Is it institute?
No. I think maybe the modality, like the transmission from here to there are even usually in class.
Enter, sir.
It is?
Enter.
It is enter. Okay. So the word, this is enter. I will now play it. Probably I think all you will get now.
Enter.
Yes, it is enter. Correct or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now this is another signal. This is the first signal. Okay, I will show that signal later. And I did some signal processing operation. One of my students has done some good signal processing operation. So after that, this is the signal. What is this? Can somebody guess? Okay, I will play this and then you guess.
Sir, it's compression.
Yeah, it is.
Compression and stretching.
Compression and expansion. Okay. So I want more clear answers here because the more apt words here. Say compression means, see, it's not like you people think. Say compression means if I have some signal of say for 2 minutes, I will put it in 1 minute. That is not compression. Okay. So that is that. What do you say? Say, for example, if I have signal of 100 samples, if I put it in 50 samples, what
it's
do you
called decimation, sir.
It is called either decimation or down sampling. Okay.
Yes.
So compression is what? Compression means I will have, say, for example, if I send some video, okay, I will compress and send some video. Once you play, say if it is a movie of 2.5 hours, once I compress and send you, and if you play it, assume that after decompression, for example, because I compressed, there will be some loss in information. So if you feel that if I compress and send, the information gets say only 2.5 hours to 1 hour, some 15 minutes. So do you agree if I am able to, if I compress like that?
No, sir, the information will be lost, right?
Yeah. So what is compression? Compression will not reduce the duration of signal. It will only represent the information in a very compact way, and you can retrieve back the same information of 2 minutes. Okay, if it is 2 minutes, you should be able to retrieve 2 minutes. So if it is compression from here to here, so there should not be no time difference when I play them. but it appears that this
enter,
here to here, there is a time, there is a stretch of the time axis. There is a reduction, there is a downsampling in time axis. Okay, so our decimation in time axis. So this is the decimated signal or downsampled signal, and this is
interpolated.
Yeah, in some sense interpolated or the
Upsampling.
signal. Right. So I will show that in the subsequent slides. Now you listen to this. So keep your ears little yeah, can you tell some difference between signal 4 and signal 5?
Are there any frequencies missing, sir? Some tones are missing.
Yeah, now you should tell what's happening between signal 4 and signal 5.
Yes, some noise added to signal 5, sir.
Right, very good. So there is some noise added here. There is a continuous beep sound. So that is here. Right? So now, say this is a problem now. Assume that while my recording is done because of my, a low-cost device or say the atmosphere noise or say fan noise or fan sound, I might have got this recording. Okay. So now what I wish to do, I would like to remove this noise and get back my original tones. Okay. So do you think I will be able to get it or not? Yeah, you're able to see in signal 6?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we will see what operation we might have done. Can some of you guess what operation may be needed for getting this?
Yeah,
Need a filter.
Band pass filter something.
Some filtering we might have done. We will
Yeah.
see what filtering is. Good. So now we will come to the analysis.
enter.
So do you see any difference between these two?
Enter.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What difference?
There is some background noise in signal 8.
Small background noise, but both look almost alike. Duration wise, if you see, is there any difference in duration?
Yeah, same.
No difference in duration. So it is a compressed signal. You can see. I will show visually. So now let us see actually. So what is the next exercise? Okay, so what I suggest is, see this course to you people to appreciate and learn sufficiently. It is not enough just to listen and do some reading and probably answer some test exams. You should start yourself, even though I think there are so many difficulties that may be there across. You should start coding yourself with small examples. You should also be able to record your voice signal. Okay, do all these operations. Okay, so if you record, say even you can anyway download some voice signals, but I think it is even easy to record your voice signal. So say in MATLAB, for example, so wave record or say I think audio record, I think. So you can see, you can figure out wave record, I think is one command. Similarly, you can figure out other commands to just record the voice signal. Once you record them, you can you can try to store them in a variable and then even see the variable across say one dimension. You can plot them and you can do these operations. So if you do these operations, how do they vary? You can see. So that way of a little bit of programming is also needed. In fact, down the line, I will be giving some programming assignments as well. So the modality to program can be MATLAB if you have the feasibility to use the MATLAB. okay, at your places are from the institute. There is a feasibility to use from institute, but only thing is you should download once. So it is a 10 GB, I think, whole standalone version. So if you can manage to download one time that 10 GB somehow, then you can use it in your computer comfortably. Using online every time is not very easy. So sometimes you will be able to use it, sometimes there may be difficulty. So if you can afford somehow to get the MATLAB, it is the best option. Second option is anyway, Python also you can keep learning. I think anyway, I heard from your ice-breaking session that some of you, your seniors, are ready to offer you some classes or to teach you on MATLAB and Python, introduction to Python programming. So even say NumPy libraries or use small Python code to do this. That is also fine. Only thing is in some cases you may need to figure out the appropriate libraries for doing these things. MATLAB, many people like might be using, they know it. But for images it is easy, but for audio also hopefully in Python also you will get. So what I suggest is start wetting yourself with little bit of setting up the platform, okay, making small codes, so that you will, when I give programming assignments, it will at little later point of time, you won't feel say burdened or you won't feel uncomfortable. And as probably I think the question might have already raised on you on what are the skills necessary for getting good placements or even for going for good higher studies. So one important thing that is necessary nowadays is that in addition to being thorough in some of the theoretical and conceptual aspects, you should also be thorough on little bit of coding, and you should be thorough in fact with good coding as well nowadays. So to come to that stage, what I suggest is you start from now where you are not very much loaded, to slowly make it as a hobby or a habit to just code 1 or 2 small programs a day, so that actually you will be able to do quite effectively little later. So you won't even feel difficulty for the kind of assignments we give, or even the kind of requirements you will have even for the later placements or for any higher studies or even for projects and all those things. Okay, so I suggest you. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Karthikeya.
Sir, our seniors told us that they will provide a VPN so that we can access the servers at the institute to run the MATLAB.
Right.
So when will it be available, sir?
Yeah, I think Sumant is here, so he will tell.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. So yeah, probably we'll look into it. Me and there's one more PhD student in our college, namely Mohana. So we will look into it how it can be accessed by your students.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we will anyway figure out. There is a common server in addition to the workstation lab we have. So there is a common server as well. So we will figure out a proper modality and enable you people how to use it. Even for say at least for learning and few times or on regular basis also we will see. But as I suggested, if you want to practice something, so you don't really need servers to do the kind of programming you need to do now. So what is needed is only at the training, probably you may need the help through this. But after that, what you better try to arrange for say one download of MATLAB somehow from the institute licensed version, so that actually even though I think it is some 10 GB or so, it takes time and there is a you should ensure many like connectivity and other things to do that. But once you do it, I think you are comfortable. You can code at your laptop. So that that you can probably exercise. And Python is anyway comfortable. You can do it from anywhere, I hope. Yeah, so what I'm suggesting is you can start on these things. Okay, so we'll move on. So this is the same thing that we have played so far. So this is somebody has recorded, stored, and then now they have played it like this. Okay, so this is the 8192 samples. So you can, these 5,000 samples are shown here. So now you can see this is the signal. So once you show the, or you have the signal as a vector, you can do many operations on it. Okay, so what they have done here is what operation they have done here? Can some of you tell? What is the operation done here?
Time delay.
Just a time delay, correct. So they just say if you play this, enter will come immediately. If you play this, what will happen? After a pause, enter will come. That's all. So you can do all such operations simply on signals and you can translate to real signals. Okay, so what is the operation done here?
Compression in time, I think.
Scaling.
It is scaling in time, correct. It is,
Yeah.
Should be said as downsampling or scaling in time, right? Okay, so then what is the operation here? So you can see now I am not playing these things now. So these are all the things we have played before. So what is the operation done here?
Upscaling.
Yeah, scaling in time. All right, is. So I request each question to be answered by different people. Okay. Yeah, what is the operation done here? Yeah, some other student. Yeah.
Time reversal.
Reversal, sir.
Correct. Time. Correct. So they just flipped it. So you can do all these operations. So you anyway you see in convolution and all operations. So later when you see, so you do all these operations. So their implication in real signals is very great. You see, for example, if I play this, you can easily listen. If I play this, I don't think you can listen. So we will not be able to understand what it is, but information is still there. So it's like that. Okay. So another example that some of you people have mentioned, and also we discussed in small details, is amplitude modulation. So I think many of you know what is amplitude modulation, right? So what do we do in modulation? Why do we do it? Quickly, some answer I would like to hear. It's not a communication class, but still I would like to hear some answer on why modulation is done.
Reduce the antenna size.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Tell. Yeah, tell Niharika.
Here the message signal amplitude is varied.
Okay.
The amplitude of carrier signal is varied according to the message signal amplitude.
Message signal amplitude is less or carrier signal amplitude is less? Message signal usually is less. Its frequency is less. Okay, rather than the amplitude. So probably I think I am speaking about
the frequency is less.
Yeah, frequency of message signal is very less. And I would like to embed if I want to transmit over very large distances. Okay, so I will not be able to transmit it very easily because its frequency is less means what is the implication? Can some of you tell? So in a signal, if the frequency is less, then what?
Transmission.
Antenna height.
Antenna height will be required, will be more.
No, that's all design considerations. I am not interested in it. So
Low distance transmission.
That is all fine. That is an implication.
Noise will be added more, sir.
No. That is also something else.
Transmission distance is very less.
Okay. So that is fine. But see, for example, I will give
transmission distance, sir.
Yeah, I will just give an example. Assume that I want to throw a small paper onto third floor. Okay. So from I'm in ground floor or from ground, I would like to throw a small paper onto the third floor. Okay. So what is the difficulty? Will it fly? A paper?
No, sir.
It doesn't fly. So what do you think I can do?
Take a stone.
Wrap it in a stone.
Wrap it in a stone and then throw. Then will it go or not?
It will go,
sir.
Yeah. So now what do you think is being, say, what is the limitation of this fly that much height?
Power.
Yeah. So here for low frequency signal or for say carrier message signal, what is less?
Power.
Power or the energy is less. Okay. So its power is very less. So it will not be able to go, since its signal power is less, it will not be able to get transmitted or reach out to larger distances. So for that, what do?
modulate the signal.
Modulation.
Modulate means what? What do we do in through modulation? We're embedding it in a high
High
power.
frequency signal.
Yeah, high frequency means high power signal. You're putting it somehow nicely embedded into a high power signal. Then this high power signal will go. Okay, and then you take back the low power signal. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done in this modulation, but now as a result, see, if you see, for example, if you want to take out, so it's not like signals mixing and taking out, right? So there has to be some nice operations to guide them. So what is done in a modulation or a demodulation is what? So if I want to take out the signal back, what should I do now?
Demodulation.
Yeah, demodulation, fine. In demodulation, what signal processing operation is needed?
Yes, sir. We need a low-pass
filter.
We need a filter.
Proper filter design.
Proper filter need to be designed so that I can extract. See, for example, if I mix high frequency and low frequency, it looks like this. Okay, this is a high frequency signal, and this is a low frequency signal around it. Okay, so this is the signal I need, and this is the signal I don't need. But if I see overall, this signal will be dominating. Still, in frequency domain, I can easily separate and take out this, and I can show nicely this. Okay, this is also a signal processing operation, right? Right. Similarly, now, so this is the example you have seen before. What is this noise? Previously, you have seen a signal like this, and we said there is a noise added. What noise do you think is added? Now, will you be able to tell? What is the kind of noise do you think is added from this signal to this signal?
Yes, sir. I think it's a white noise.
It's a white noise, somebody is saying. But looking at the frequency plot, can you tell something what kind of noise may be added? White means what?
Band pass noise.
Band pass noise you cannot tell. I want more apt name for kind of noise. See this signal if you see. So its amplitude is high for some time, pass, high for some time, pass, and so on. This signal if you see, it looks like almost some noise is added. Okay. So, but in frequency domain if you see, can you tell what kind of noise is it added? I want very good answer for this.
It is the noise of the channel or the transmission media?
No, I am not asking noise is because of what. I am asking what kind of noise is it. Looking at the frequency plot, you should tell. See, I will tell few more. I will give one more clue. So in this frequency plot, both noise and signal both are there. Okay. Can some of you tell where is the noise in this frequency plot? Where is signal? When I'm playing this, which is dominating? Is noise is dominating or the signal is dominating? When I'm playing,
dominating. Signal is dominating.
No, in this. Sorry.
Where?
In this noisy one, signal is you're able to listen, but noise is
Noise is domination.
Yeah. So this is the noise. I will give one more clue. So this is the noise and this is all the signal in this frequency plot. So this frequency plot of noise is signal, and this is the noise and this is the signal frequencies. Now you tell me, this is the noise. So what kind of noise is this? You should be able to tell now.
High frequency noise, 2000 Hz noise. Original signal is 1000 Hz.
Okay. I am not asking about the frequency of the noise. I am asking the mathematical form of the noise. So what
constant signal.
It is?
Constant signal noise.
Right.
Constant.
It is a cosine noise or a sinusoidal noise. Okay. So because the frequency of cosinusoid is very high, as you said, correctly pointed out, since the frequency is high, say even cosine, it looks like a continuous band. You don't see the gap of a cycle. Okay. The cycle is very small. Right? Hope you understand, right? How you have got this? Okay. So in this, if I zoom and so on, if I zoom very much, then you can see a cosinusoid. But since it is very packed like this, high frequency one, we are looking as a continuous band of noise. Right? Hope you got it. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the noise. Now, if I want to remove this, what should I do now? I want to remove this. What should I do now?
Filter.
Yeah, we apply a filter. So what kind of filter should we apply?
Band pass.
Yeah,
Low pass.
Low pass or something.
Yeah, you can apply low pass. Here they have applied low pass filter. Okay. So and then got this. Now you see this is the signal getting highlighted. Now if you play, so through signal processing operations, in some applications, if we know exactly what kind of operation has been done or in degradation has been done, you can exactly get back the original signal. Okay. So if you can understand the phenomena, it will also help us to get back the signal back in some of the, quite accurately in some of the applications. Okay. So what do you think is happening here? So this is, I have flashed here a slide giving some example. So this is the original image. So this looks very nice, right? This is satellite image. Okay. So, but this is, what do you think happened here from signal this image to this image? Some answer I need. This is again frequency plot. Yeah, some answer we would like.
Yes, sir. It's I think the image is downsampled. There are some samples missing. Pixels are missing in corrupted image.
Okay. Okay. So any other answer? See, you might not have seen so far any two-dimensional frequency plots. Okay, this is a two-dimensional frequency plot. Okay, what this does is, see, for example, if you take only one-dimensional signal, okay, so it's variation of signal is there only in one dimension. So how do you define frequency of a signal? See, these are all very, very important. I don't know whether you, even if you understand, even if you go for any, say, interviews, what they wish, especially R&D institutions, okay, what they will ask is not the advanced questions. So they giving some problem and solving whether you are able to do it or not is not their interest. So they will ask actually fundamental things. Did you understand well or not? Okay, so this is one of the some classical and fundamental question. So what is frequency here in this signal? So
number of samples per second.
Okay, number of samples per second. See, it will be constant, right? So number of samples per second is constant across all samples. Any time duration. That I can't strictly say it's a frequency. See, why do you say, for example, if I give you this signal and this signal, so both are say 16,000 samples. Okay, number of samples per second is roughly same. Okay, in that case, why do you say that this frequency of these signals is different than these signals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, sir. Please tell.
Right. So see, when I have a sinusoid, you have seen here, right? So this you say is low frequency sinusoid. Okay, this frequency is high frequency sinusoid. Why do you say that this is low frequency, this is high frequency?
The number of cycles are varied per second, sir.
Number of cycles varying per second. Yeah, per second. Number of cycles per second here are less. Number of cycles per second here are more. Okay. So that you can, one classical definition, one simple definition of frequency. But thing is, see, all the time I won't get cycles. Because see, for example, here if I say, no, I can't completely define what is cycle. Okay. Here, for example, I may not even be able to define easily what is cycle. So then what do you say? How do I define? I want more general definition of frequency.
The number of images of the signal that repeats per second, or
number of
images of the signal.
No, there is no image, right? So why
like not the image, sir. Like the part of a signal that repeats for every second.
So it may not repeat also. See, in all the cases, it may not be repeating. This is a nice signals. Okay. So I am showing for the sake of simplicity and ease of understanding, I have nice signals. But if I see, for example, this is also a signal. So if you see, say, this is also a signal, who can counter it? So then I say that this also has some frequency. If I just want to look at it as a time domain signal, I can look at it. What is the problem? So the frequency is the variation with time. Okay. So the rate of change is in some sense frequency. Okay. So if I say that if the say if I give all constant signal, that means rate of change, if I see, the number of samples are same, but the rate of change, if I see, it is 0. So I can call it as 0 frequency. Fine. If I see this signal, this rate of change is, say, there. So based on that, I will define some frequencies in it. Here I may see, even though if I, as I said, if you zoom it, there is a high rate of change. That's why I say it is a high frequency signal. Similarly here, the rate of, say, the rate variation of sample to sample. Say x of n sample to x of n minus sample, one sample, x minus 1 to x minus n minus 2, x of n minus 2 sample. That variation in the magnitude of samples or the rate of change of samples, that itself is defined as frequency. Okay. So now, so if you see in a two-dimensional signal, the rate of change in magnitude or the intensity values will be there both in x direction as well as in y direction. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So here you can see that the that's why the frequency plot is also 2 dimensions. Okay, not just 1 dimension. Okay, so there is a rate of change in frequency in x direction and frequency in y direction. Okay, so that's why you are able to see frequencies in both directions, and what you see dots here are magnitude of frequencies. Very high frequency means there is a dot here. Okay, low frequency is black here. So you will anyway be interpreting this more in image processing course or in medical imaging course probably also to some extent. So I will skip this full interpretation of this for later details. But for now, you should understand that this is this variation is there in x direction, and the rate of change of intensities are there in y directions, and frequency in x direction, those are quantified as frequency in x direction, frequency in y direction. And the dots here, that means high intensity regions here, are nothing but the high frequency values. So you can see there is a high frequency here. Assume that there is a high frequency here and here. See, high frequency being there, high amplitude being there at 2 different frequencies. Okay, means that it is a sinusoid. Okay, as you can see here, high amplitude at 2 different frequencies plus and minus 2000. Okay, is a sinusoid. Similarly, high amplitude here and here, or high amplitude here and here, high amplitude here and here at plus and minus frequencies is a sinusoid. So this is in fact a image that is corrupted with sinusoidal noise. Okay, in 2 dimensions. Okay, so now I can completely remove this and I can get this back with this filtering. In fact, this is the filtered image. This is the original image from a sensor. Okay, which introduced a sinusoidal noise, and this is the image after filtering and getting with say low pass filter. This is the clean image. So in real process, you have only got this. Through signal processing, I got this. Now you understand what has happened or not? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So image processing can be done in both the frequency domain as well as in spatial domain. So I will skip these details now. So you can also do through averaging and few more moving average also is a low pass filter. So I am giving a statement here. So moving average filter, which you know probably many of those people who have done signal processing, moving average filter is a low pass filter. So you later prove or disprove this. Okay, so this is just a question for you. Okay, fine. So through that also you can do denoising. So this is the compression. So we will just discuss this, and after this we will stop. Okay, we will stop our discussion. I think few more things are there. So applications anyway we have discussed, we will discuss back again. So the grading criteria also we will discuss in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so we will only discuss image compression now and stop it. So do you have any class now? At 10 o'clock?
Also at 11:55.
11:55 you have, right? So fine, good.
Yes.
So 10 minutes now is fine for all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. I will probably wind up in another 10 minutes. So what I will do is anyway, sometimes I will give recorded lectures to you to listen, but sometimes I will try to take it in the class itself, because anyway the class is small class. We can be little interactive. I don't think you people will generate as much noise as a big class students can generate. So we can comfortably have it with a little bit of interaction in here itself. But some cases I may also send you the recorded lectures. So all these lectures are again recorded. So I will upload all these recorded lectures either in Google Classroom or I will upload in YouTube and give the link to you, so that you can listen to them again. Yeah. Right. So image compression. So you know any you know any idea how do we do compression? So this is an image and this is a compressed image. Like voice compression you have seen. Even image compression doesn't change much of the details or doesn't change the dimensions first of all. Okay, it will only change the information to be represented in compact way. Okay, so I think I skipped some details of signal compression. See, you can see this is the original signal and this is its Fourier transform or discrete Fourier transform. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform of compressed signal. From here to here, do you people notice any change? Is there any change between this and this signal?
High frequency signals were filtered.
Okay. Any other
First to
comment?
second.
Yeah, I think one answer I got probably from, I didn't see who it is.
Madan, sir, Madan.
Yeah, I need another answer. Another couple of answers, in fact, if you can quickly give. So, is there any difference between this spectrum and this spectrum?
Yes, some lower amplitude signals also filtered, and as well as the high frequency signals also.
Okay, who has given again, Madan? Okay, so you should give pass. Okay, fine. The answer is correct. See, the main thing here from here to here is low amplitude things are filtered, not the frequency based filtering here. Okay, you are not filtering that above this frequency I will remove. I will only remove above some amplitude. Okay, that below some amplitude. I will just keep a threshold and amplitude of frequency, say at any frequency for a frequency spectrum. See, the intuition is that if the amplitude of frequency is very small in the original signal, it means that it is a noisy frequency. That means that is not there, especially it is not very important to represent the original signal. Even if I just knock off small amplitudes in the frequency domain, magnitudes in frequency domain or amplitudes in frequency domain, it doesn't matter much to capture the details of the signal. This is very, very true. And this is in fact the key for all signal compression methods, not just for voice compression, but also for image compression, video compression, and so on. Okay, so I just knocked out, as you can see, here to here, all the even here, you can see that these are knocked out. Because the threshold, if I just put on the frequency spectrum, below some threshold of 10, for example, if I knock out, then these are all gone. Okay, here also gone. Irrespective of frequency where they occur, the amplitude being low, I will knock off. And this spectrum is, I just take it to time domain. And now I will, you can see the compressor. There is small, background noise or some loss of details compared to the original signal. But that is acceptable in some of the real situations. So this is known as lossy compression, where you are losing some information but able to compress very effectively. See, why do I call that there is a compression happening from here to here? So I said that there is a compression has happened, right? So from here to here. In what sense I say that there's a compression that has happened? What is compressed here? I don't see, because 1,000 samples, 5,000 samples were before, and now also I have 5,000 samples. Wish to get some answer from other student. This is the last question probably in this class I will ask. Okay, and
size decreases, sir.
Which decreases?
Size of the file.
Which size has decreased?
Sir, some frequency components have been compressed.
Right, correct. But I think frequency components are not there. They're non-zero. The number of non-zero frequency components are reduced. Okay. So how does it help in reducing the size? Size you are telling in computer, right? So when you in MB,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You see the size, number of bits for representing it will decrease. Okay.
Yes.
Sending it or for representing it will decrease. How do you think it has happened? So what is its relation to something that is that I'm seeing here?
Yes, and the frequency components are reduced, right, sir?
Yeah.
It means some information is lost.
Yeah. See, some non-zero number of non-zero frequency components are less. So it means that I use only bits wherever there is a non-zero components for in frequency domain. So if I just code it now, encode in frequency domain, assume that. Okay, here for each of the frequencies, I should put at least one bit. Okay, but here I can keep 0 bits. Okay, I can just only tell from here to here there is no frequency components at all. That is good enough. So coding techniques will take care of it, but there is a reduction in number of bits that I can use it for representing, because the number of non-zero signals will, non-zero samples are less. Okay, hope you got the point. Okay, I will move on. Same is applicable to image compression as well. And in images, you can see two-dimensional spectrum. Here also you can threshold, and after thresholding, you can see the compression ratio being even very high, and you can get back the original signal. Okay, so almost say with no details missing. To the human eye, you can't see any change in appearance. Okay, but absolutely, if you see, there will be some difference. We will stop here. We will discuss the other things in the next class. Okay. So yeah, I will skip the all slides and I will move on to the last discussion. So even grading criteria I will discuss in the next class. So we will have some time to discuss. So I will give references. Okay, because for the advantage of the students who are eager and wish to get the books. Okay, the Oppenheim and Schaffer and Buck, which you discrete time cycle processing book, if you have already, it is perfect. Okay, because you might have studied it in your BTech, you should have it already. But if you don't have it, I suggest you buy it. Okay, low price edition, Indian edition you see. Okay, if it is 500 rupees, I think it is roughly around that. So you better buy it. No, because I think it is a book that I follow at least for the 60% of the course. Okay, and remaining few things maybe from here and there, but I think even more than 60% I will follow that book. Okay, even though I may not follow exactly that, and I may give the information that is not there in that book as well, but that is one of the continuous thread of the content. Okay, that I will usually refer. Okay, so I think first thing that you should get for getting set for this course is get this book, Discrete Time Cycle Processing, okay, by Oppenheim and Schaffer. Remaining books based on availability and feasibility you can get. I think SK Mitra is also Indian edition. Prokis Manalakis also might be there as an Indian edition. So those who people wish to get Oppenheim and Prokis you can get. Okay, otherwise Oppenheim alone is also sufficient if you people optimally use it. No, but I think at least one book you should get. If you can't get Oppenheim, you should get other book. Okay. And you also try to set up yourself. Where I will send anyway few notes. Even though don't bother about if I have not taught them in the class, and if some people are not seen them before, don't bother too much. But I would suggest that you at least should be familiar with that content. So I would like to know from you how much is the familiarity on that content as well. I will try to share some notes because I have the notes already with me, I will try to share at least say 3-4 topics notes, even though I will discuss them progressively. As you might have seen in my class today, so the contents won't move much faster. So even though I wish to discuss more, it will slowly go. Okay, so unless I feel that you are not comfortable, it is I myself don't feel like jumping onto the new topic. Okay, so you do enough background work so that we will be able to discuss enough details in this course. So I at least planned to discuss even up to filter design, okay, and even wavelet transforms and other time frequency transforms. Also, I have a plan, if I have enough time, to discuss on Wiener filter, Kalman filter, which are some adaptive filtering techniques. So the plan is big, but I think I need your cooperation and full-fledged attention to materialize these things. Okay, so unlike in universities, we don't have very strict restrictions on the content to be discussed and the syllabus to be covered. So I give more value or importance to understanding, but at the same time, if you are not spending enough time or like not following in spite of the repeated discussions, then I may skip. Otherwise, I won't skip. Okay, so I suggest we should not have that situation at all. You should also be taking time to time the necessary steps to make yourself comfortable. Right. So first thing is to get the book and some notes which I will send. You see the familiarity, and probably next class I will give, tomorrow's class I will give topics, so that you see your familiarity on the topics. These are the 3 things. And 4th thing is setting up yourself with some programming platform, either MATLAB or something, so that you can do small coding exercise like I have shown today. Okay, so any other questions I can answer now. We will spend few minutes for discussion. Yeah, this is the book for MATLAB coding. So you can have several online resources, but this is also one. And there are good video lectures by Oppenheim and Schaffer. So by Oppenheim, Professor Oppenheim, you can listen to them. So they are very nice. You can also listen to them. And there are some NPTEL video lectures as well on this content. You can also see them. So I will share anyway these slides. So yeah, open for any questions or discussions for few minutes now.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, will you please share this PPT to us?
Yeah, sure. I will share now itself. I think our people will upload now itself. So what we do is Google Classroom we use initially. Moodle also I think is created, right? So then Moodle is also created?
No, sir.
Okay.
Moodle also created, sir.
Yeah, fine, good. So you can give the hints to the, you can mail to the students on how to enroll them in Moodle. You upload the content both in probably Moodle and Google Classroom. Probably I think videos etc. we can do it in Google Classroom after.
Google Classroom,
yeah, we will set it up there, but minimal content you put even both in Moodle as well, so that those who can't even access this also can access. Yeah, it will be there even for our future courses, right? So put minimum content in Moodle, the remaining content in Google Classroom. I request TS to upload the slides. They're all ready with them, so they will upload. Yeah, any other questions or comments or queries?
Sir, on what basis we are saying that it's a one-dimensional signal, two-dimensional signal?
Okay, so if the independent variable is 1, we are saying that it is one-dimensional signal. If the independent variables are 2, so space here, x direction and y direction both are independent. Okay, variables, then it is 2-dimensional. If there are 3 independent variables, x and like a space variables and time variable, it is 3-dimensional and so on. So this is one kind of reference. Later we will see if I want to represent a one-dimensional signal as a vector, then again the number of dimensions I may say 1000 plus 1. So you can say that you can argue that it is in 1000 dimensions, okay, as a vector, but it is still variables are 1. So it is one data type wise, it is only 1-dimensional. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? So would like to hear from army officers whether the content is it reachable? Manmeet, Girish, and Pradeep.
Sir, yes, sir. We are able to grab, sir.
Okay.
We'll go through the background, sir. Once again, sir.
Yeah. So because I think that too, this class is an introductory class, and hopefully good number of examples are there, and no math is there. So it is even more easy to follow. Later point of time there will be some math and other things. So I will try to use some notes and online teaching of with notes. So at that time it is even more critical. So I will probably upload some of the notes as well. So some basic signals and systems notes. So I will create a folder for signals and systems. So you can even look at that content as well. So to understand, so you to get some understanding of the mathematical details or even algorithmic details or content there. So we will anyway discuss time to time on that. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no other questions, we will stop now. Yeah. Thank you then. Thank you. Bye to all.
Thank you.